Well, what's the difference? What's the difference in your vision then between the tradition that you would be conservative about and religion? I'm not trying to corner you. I'm just trying to see how you're making the distinction conceptually.
It comes down to very specific claims that I think are clearly false, and which many of our religions advertise as not only important but indispensable for their projects. So take Islam as a specific example. Islam, mainstream Islam, not just Al-Qaeda style Islam, just any Islam that really is worthy of the name in the year 2021, is founded on the claim that the Quran is the literal word of God. It is not to be.
The question is, what does literal mean?
Yeah, but in the minds of most Muslims, most of the time, it means that these stanzas were dictated to Muhammad in his cave by the archangel Gabriel, and he was commanded to recite, and he recited them. And what we have here is, in truth, the claim, the Orthodox claim is even more stringent than the seemingly analogous, fundamentalist, Christian claim about the Bible. It's not just that the text itself is verbatim what God said. It's that the document itself is, in fact, like every instantiation of the physical document is itself the word of God. It's like there's sort of a double layer of sacredness to it.
Well, is the
cannot
problem,
be edited.
Is the problem that claim, or is it the problem that the people who purport to understand it claim to be 100% right?
Well, no. But the problem is that given that claim, and given the actual contents of the book, what you have is an endless source of divisiveness and conflict. Like, if you dignify that claim, you say, okay, this is the most important series of utterances ever expressed on Earth. This is it. Let's find out what the creator of the universe wants us to know. What he wants us to know, above all else, is that, one, we should hate and fear and despise and resist and never befriend unbelievers. Right? That message comes through on virtually every page. And a hell has been prepared for these unbelievers, where their skins will be endlessly burned off of them and replenished so that they can be tortured anew, right?
Do you think there's any relationship between that claim and your observation that failure to take refuge in the sacred as you've laid it out dooms you to possession by the default network and puts you into that hell?
Yes. Okay. So it is possible to give a very enlightened reading of this text, or really any text, that allows you to step out of its divisive and toxic implications. So I would support that kind of reading. If we were joined in this conversation by Muslim scholars who said, no, don't you understand? Jordan's spiritual interpretation of this admonishment is precisely what God intended. He intended it to be an engine not of hate and division and sectarian tribalism. He intended it to be a device that would allow you to recognize the emotional and cognitive implications of being caught by dualism, say, right? Like, really, et cetera, et cetera. You go as far as you want in that direction. That'd be great. The problem is the book itself gives no indication that your interpretation is the right one. And in fact, it gives every indication that it's not, and that
I'm going to
it's
be
heterodox.
Speaking with a sequence of Muslim scholars.
Okay, good luck.
So
I wish you good luck there. Yeah.
Well, I'm praying for good luck, because it's a conversation that absolutely needs to be had.
Yeah,
clearly.
no, I would agree.
Sam,
So I just to close, finally close this chapter, I would just say that it's not that what you're doing with the book isn't possible. My concern is that these books tend to make that very difficult, and there are other more plausible and easier interpretations that require less hermeneutics, less cognitive bandwidth, less principles of charity, and less cosmopolitanism. And so therefore it's no accident that you wind up with something like the Islamic State if you take the Quran very, very seriously. And that's what worries me as we live in this world where it's increasingly easy for small numbers of people to screw up the whole project for millions of us, as technology, leverages the consequence of
yes, well, that's why
tribalism.
I've been focusing on development of the individual, because it is increasingly possible for individuals to do that. So we have to stop doing it.
Yes.
So,
no, I'm with you there.
Look,